Good afternoon, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson. Welcome to Stamp with Me. I'm just trying to find you on my iPad. There we go. Okay, welcome. So we are stamping again today, and we're actually going to be doing 2 card folds. I'm just going to give it a little bit for everyone to find me. I think a lot of you guys were anxious for this. There was quite a few looking for me yesterday, and the scheduled date was actually today. Oh, I have to say hi to Ellen because she was the one looking for me yesterday. You found me, Ellen. Yay. Okay, I can see you guys all coming on. So let's just recap a little bit. I wanted to just bring in the project that we worked on last time. It was this bee themed. And I was so happy to see a lot of you guys create this. And I was happy to see that you guys, some of you guys used butterflies, dragonflies, different flowers. It was great to see what you guys came up with because you probably didn't have the same exact supplies that I used. So that's what's great about these classes. I try to use products that I know you guys can substitute with something close. So let's get started. I just need to find a place to put this frame. Okay, let's get started on card number 1. So if you missed it, there's a post that has all of the measurements. And then when I get done with the video, what I do is I actually create a post with photos of the 2 cards or the projects that I make. And then I list the link to the video and the link to the post that has all the measurements and products that you need. So today we're using Lovely Lipstick, 5.5 by 5.5 by 8.5, Whisper White, and I'm gonna bring in my ruler, 7.5 by 5, and then another piece of Lovely Lipstick, 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then it was up to you what you wanted to use for ink colors, but I'm using these 3. I'm using Bermuda Bay, Flirty Flamingo, Lovely Lipstick, and Soft Sea Foam. Isn't that pretty? What a pretty palette. And what else? We also needed an oval die to cut out an oval. This one measures 3.5 inches wide. Anything close will do. And today I'm using the beautiful Friendship stamp set. I'm actually using this flower, the 2 leaves, the small rose. So very happy to know you. And let me see what else. This little flower right here and this little flower. And that one is easy to substitute also. You'll see once we start going. And then I've got that basket weave embossing folder. So let's get started by folding the Lovely Lipstick cardstock. And you can score that at 4 1/4. And while we have the score tool, we're going to score the white piece also. Now that one measures 7.5. So we're going to score at 3 3/4. Wait a minute, 7. Yeah, 7. Let me make sure. I should have written this down. So that's 7. So it will be, does that make sense? 3 3/4. Yeah, that's half, right? Yeah, 3 3/4. I had to stop and think there for a minute. So again, Lovely Lipstick, score at 4 1/4. Whisper White, score at 3 3/4. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. Now I know some of you guys are stamping with me, so I'm gonna wait till you do your scoring and then you can fold on the score line. So we have 2 pieces folded in half. Hello everyone, I can see you all jumping on. I'm so glad you're here. So I hope you guys have been doing a lot of stamping while you're at home. I'm trying to come on 2 or 3 times a week to keep you a little busy. Now we're gonna bring the big shot in with the smaller piece of, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, we're gonna bring this in. We're gonna actually do the cutting first. Now what I want you to do, we're not going to glue this securely in place just yet. You're just going to add glue in the center. Put this on your card front where it should go. Make sure you center it. It's just going to be glued in the middle so that when we cut this out, we'll be able to separate the two pieces. So go ahead and bring in your big shot. And we're going to do the embossing right after too. So make sure you have the plates for cutting and your plates for embossing. Now the oval is going to go right in the center. And it's up to you if you want to use washi tape to hold it in place. So go ahead and cut through both layers. And I usually run it through twice when I'm cutting through 2 layers. So now when you remove this, because we only glued it in the center, these two are glued together, but your 2 panels you can separate. Now we're going to put this one aside. I'm going to change my cutting plates over to my embossing plates. And then you can go ahead and emboss the single piece with the oval in the center. Okay, and we're gonna need this for card number 2, not the embossing folder, but these same plates. I'm gonna set these aside for card number 2. So now I'm going to hold off, let everybody catch up. So we should have 3 pieces going. While everybody's doing their cutting and their embossing, I wanted to remind you guys of Paper Pumpkin. We had a fabulous kit for the month of April, and May is going to be just as great. May is focusing on my wonderful family. So you guys, you need to be subscribed. And these kits are planned like 5 or 6 months in advance. So it's just it's such a coincidence that these 2 kits kind of are helping out during the coronavirus. So I just wanted to remind you of that. Okay, so now we're going to take the embossed layer and we're going to glue that to the card front. And because we have a lot of bumps on our embossing, I'm using liquid glue. It's just easier to glue down. And all you're going to do is match up the oval, make sure it's right in the center. So this is actually tone on tone. And you can see how pretty that looks when it's tone on tone. And then next we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in all of my stamps. Just realized I didn't clean them after I did my card yesterday. I'm just going to clean around them just so I don't get ink on my white. Okay, so I'm using a lot of stamps on this one. Oh, this one has some ink on it too. Okay, those are all my stamps. Now, I haven't shown you the card yet. I did that on purpose. I was kind of keeping it a little surprise element. So now I'm going to bring it in and show you. So this piece is actually going to glue on the inside. It's going to fold towards the left, and this one's going to fold towards the right. And this is what the card looks like. So what I've done on the white piece, I stamped the large flower in the center, and then I just created all kinds of color on the inside to resemble designer paper. So that's what we're going to do today. So depending on what you're using for images, and I'm so anxious to see what you guys are going to come up with. So the first thing I'm going to do is place this, and I actually am going to use washi tape. had to go get a roll. I want to make sure my big flower is going to be inside the oval. And I don't want to glue this inside yet because I have a lot of stamping to do that's going to go over the edge. So I'm going to glue that in place, fold this down, and let me see, I'm just going to put my snail right there. I'm going to bring in lovely lipstick for my ink color. And I want my flower right in the center. It's going to be my focal. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And I wanted to fill it in a lot more than you see, so I'm going to actually turn. So my stamp image was this way. Now I'm going to turn it this way without re-inking. I'm going to stamp it again to get a lighter color. So you can see how pretty that is. Now I can go ahead and remove this out of there so I can do some stamping that's going to go off on the edge. So I'm going to bring in a scrap paper. And then I'm just going to start filling in everything that you see here. Oh, I have an ink color missing. I just realized. Where is... Hold on, I got to go get my Highland Heather. You know why? I was getting ready for my techniques class on Sunday and I borrowed the Highland Heather. So I don't even know if I listed this on my supplies. That's what I'm going to do all the roses with. Hopefully I listed that on the supplies. So now I wanted the ink to be lighter. So I'm going to actually stamp on my scrap first and then do my roses. So I added 2. I'm just going to go around the flower. And then I wanted some on the outside. So again, I'm going to keep stamping off. And I'm going to try to replicate the one that I did previously. So we're kind of just making our own designer paper. Okay, so there's that one. Let me add a little bit on the side here. So that's flower number 2. And it's really funny because you know how our purple posy we had to discontinue because they had issues with the recipe for the purple posy. If you do it like I just did with stamping off, it's light enough that would really coordinate with the purple posy cardstock. So that's a good way to get your color. Next, I'm going to bring in the soft sea foam. And we're just going to add a bunch of leaves. And I am doing those full strength. So this is a really cute stamp set. It's got everything you need to build a beautiful flower garden. So I'm just filling in around the lovely lipstick flower. And then I'm going to pause a little bit, let everybody else catch up. If you need a lot more time, please let me know. But you can see how beautiful that's coming along right now. And if you wanted to do a bigger sheet to do your own designer paper, you would just need to add more of the lovely lipstick flower into the mix. Okay, is anybody still stamping? Just give me a thumbs up if you want me to wait a little bit. Because all we've got left to do is the 2 smaller flower images. So this is a really quick card, and then we got the sentiment to do also. Okay, I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. And then card number 2, that one focuses more on the designer paper. It's a really pretty card. I hope you're going to like that one too. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add the smaller images. I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. Let me close this one up. And this is the longer flower. It almost looks like a feather. And I'm just going to add that. tuck it in here and there. Let's see, I'll do one more. So there's that one. I know I just got ink on my finger. And then the last color is going to be Bermuda Bay. And that's with the little tiny flower image. And I'm just going to add that, just a few of those. There, that's it. That's my designer paper layer. So now what we need to do is just glue that by adding adhesive on the back. And I don't even know what the name of this card fold is. I just call it a fancy card fold. It's almost like a joy fold. Okay, so that's gonna go. Make sure when you glue this down, this one opens this way. This one's gonna open in the opposite direction. And then that's all gonna peek through the front. Look how pretty. And then the last step, or actually we got two more steps. We gotta add ribbon too. Now the last stamping step, we're gonna do the sentiment, but we're gonna actually glue this in place first. And all I'm gonna do is add glue to the two ends. And I'm just gonna eyeball. You can see here, I have it so that there's a little bit of color peeking on the bottom. I'm just gonna eyeball that right about there, press it down. And it's easier to stamp the sentiment that way too. Just make sure your sentiment is not upside down. Okay, there's that. And now we have to add some bling. And these are just leftovers I had from the Noble Peacock. And I'm opting to use the greenish colored rhinestones. You know, I'm gonna have to dig out. I need one more from the other so that they're all going on this one. I see that I've got one more right here. Dig that one out. Okay, there's my rhinestones. And then I'm using the white polka dot ribbon. And I'm just going to tie that around the hole. Very simple. And tie a bow. Now sometimes when you do this ribbon, you stretch it out a little bit, and all I do is go in and just pull on it to widen it back out. Now my loops are still a little too big for my taste. I like my loops small. And then I'm just going to cut this at an angle. See if I can stretch these out a little bit. I kind of shortened them up quite a bit. See, you can revive them just by opening them up and stretching them. And there's the bow on that one. So there's card number 1 already, which was pretty simple. The biggest part is creating your own designer paper. I can see all the love. I'm glad you guys like that. So this is pretty simple. So I know you guys can do this. And even if you do it after the video's done, I would love for you to show me pictures of your creations. You know that I always tell you that each time. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit for everybody to catch up with their stamping. And I'm going to leave the cards right here, and I'm going to set up for card number 2. Okay, is anyone still stamping? One of the cards up, please. Do you mean open, Diane? Do you want me to open it so you can see the inside? So I'm assuming you're still stamping. So just let me know if I need to wait a little bit longer for card number 2 if anyone's stamping. I don't want to go too fast. This one was a simple one. That's kind of why I kind of breezed through it. The next one has a lot of folds on it, so we're going to have to wait a little. Oh, Margaret, just a second. Okay. So you guys, you can use any stamp set to do this. Very simple. Oh, Debbie's still stamping. Okay. And I accidentally put my other card right here so you guys get to see a little bit of it. I didn't want you to see it right off, so I'll have to show it right from the beginning this time. Diane, ready for card number 2? Now I'm trying to think of what I want to do for my next class. I'm kind of trying to mix things up a little bit. Do you guys like to do techniques? I was thinking maybe doing 2 techniques next time. I'm going to try to aim for maybe Saturday because Sunday's Easter. Even though we can't get together with our families, I'm sure you guys have an Easter meal planned. So I'm going to try to get something ready for Saturday. So give me a thumbs up if you guys like techniques, because maybe that's what I'll do next. Debbie's ready. Okay, looks like everyone's ready. So let's go ahead and start with number 2. I'm using the Layered Leaves embossing folder. And then these 2 dies that I showed you on your supply list come from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And it's actually the largest rectangle. And then this pretty little label. Oh, everybody's giving you thumbs up. Okay, so we'll do techniques next time. I am using the sentiment from By the Dock, which says, "Thank you for making a difference in my life." Mossy Meadow ink. Petal Pink metallic edge ribbon. So you can use anything that you want. The clear faceted jams. And then all of these pieces right here. So I've got Petal Pink, 5.5 by 4.25, a scrap for die cutting and punching, scrap of white for stamping and punching, Mossy Meadow for punching, Whisper White, 5.25 by 4, and then a piece of designer paper, and this measures, let me see, 8.25 by 5.25. So you guys did get a little sneak peek of the card. So this is what the card looks like. It's just a single card. It doesn't open. And it's got a little tag that tucks on the inside. So we're going to be working on the tag plus the folding, which is not bad at all. It's really easy. So let's get rid of our die cutting first. So we're going to use the Whisper White. Oh, you know what? We needed 2 pieces of white. This one is actually going to go on the back. And I forget to get a piece to cut the rectangle with. So make sure your piece is large enough for the rectangle. And if you don't have a rectangle, you can cut a piece of cardstock that measures 3 by 4 would do it. So, and then the label is going to be cut with the Petal Pink. So let me go ahead and grab the Big Shot. So go ahead and cut your label shape, even if you don't have this one. Something close is fine. So there's my label. Next is the scallop rectangle. Oh, I'm going to run it through again. Let me put this one down. And this is my cutting plate that has no marks in it. If you find that your die is not cutting well, flip it upside down. Now I need to go through one more time. Sometimes they can be finicky. Let me see if I got it this time. Nope. Let me get a shim. I need to put a shim over. Now this is just a thin piece of plastic that I use sometimes. And it'll give me a little bit more weight on top of the die. There, we got it this time. Now we also need to emboss the rectangle. So let me swap my cutting plate. And that's with the layered leaves. Whoops, not the cardstock. We want the rectangle. And I'll show you how pretty that is. Look how nice. Okay, we're all done with the big shot. So you should have these two pieces all done up. Okay. Oh, a few of you guys have tuned in late. That's fine. The video will be there for after. You can do this afterwards. Now, let me put the card back here. Now, because my designer paper was a little different than the first one I used, I opted to go with Petal Pink instead of the Mossy Meadow. Okay, we're gonna need a scoring tool. And we're actually gonna score this in half the long way at 4 1/8. Make sure you use the larger ball on your scoring tool so you don't pierce through your designer paper. For those of you that are not good with measurements, 4 1/8 is the little tiny line right beside the 4. What size is the pink? The pink is your card base, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. What size is the designer paper? 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. And remember, the measurements are all on the previous post that I had listed all of the supplies on. Tony, are you just cutting your designer paper? Should I wait a little bit? We're going to go ahead and fold this on the score line. And then we're going to do this fold that you see right here. Now, I find that it was easier for me if I found the halfway point, because we're actually going to fold this way. So whatever designer paper you want showing on the front, I think I wanted the stripe showing on the inside. So I'm going to actually fold this over this way. Your fold goes over towards the top, and I am going to make a little tick mark on the bottom layer, and that's going to be at 2 5/8. So I'm just going to draw a pencil line right there. What I want to try to do, because we're not scoring this ahead of time, all we're going to do is take this, find the line that I just drew. Now I can't even see it. This paper is so dark. Okay, it's right here. So find the center line and then make sure that you're up with the corner. And you're just gonna fold. Very simple. So you can use your bone folder to fold that over. And you're gonna do the same thing with the next one, but you don't even need to look at the pencil line. You're just gonna go to the corner there on the bottom to the corner on the top. And that's what's gonna make your pocket. Very easy, I think. So I'm just gonna hold off, make sure everybody got that part done. And then we're gonna start punching. So I'm gonna bring in the punches. I forgot to show you the designer paper that I'm using also is the Magnolia Lane. So you can see that on my first card, I used this one, and my second card, I used this one. So it's really neat, I think, when you choose your designer paper, try to choose a pattern that has nice patterns on both sides because you're gonna see both patterns. Now, before we glue this down, you're going to go ahead and glue your scallop rectangle. That's going to go right in the center. And I wanted some height on my little pointy piece here. So I actually glued that down with dimensionals. And all I did was add 3 dimensionals at the point. Can you show the fold again? Okay, good thing I didn't glue it down. Okay, so this was the front of my designer paper. I added a pencil mark right at 2 5/8, which is your center. I found my pencil mark, and all I did was fold so that this would be nice and even way at the top. No measuring, just fold. And then you're going to use the same point on the bottom and fold to match your top. So it's just 2 folds, one on top of each other. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this fold down. So go ahead and make your pocket. So I'll show you what I mean. I wanted some height with this piece so it wasn't so flat. So that's why I added the dimensionals. I just think that looks better. And then this is where you would tuck your little sentiment. So that's what we're going to work on next is a sentiment layer. I'm just going to hold off a little bit. So we're going to need the white and the mossy meadow. And the punches that I told you guys to have for class is the starburst punch, the 2-inch circle punch, the leaf punch, and any flower will do, but I'm using the perennial flower punch. So now let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment on white. And I'm using Mossy Meadow ink. Did you say you used dimensionals to put the white? Nope, the white layer is on flat. Dimensionals under the peak right here. I put 3 and this is raised, but the white is flat. Now we're going to use the 2-inch circle punch to punch out the sentiment. Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit because I think, are you behind, Tony, or do I need to wait? Because I just did the sentiment part. I'm just gonna hold off just for a second. Okay, thumbs up. Does that mean we're good? Okay, now we're gonna use the starburst punch to cut out a circle. So the little tag part is really easy. It's just 2 layers of circle, and we're going to glue everything to this part. So go ahead and glue the starburst right in the center. Same thing with the sentiment layer. Make sure it's nice and straight. See, we're almost done already. We just got the flower left to do and the back part. And then I have the 1/8 inch handheld punch. I'm just gonna punch a hole at the top. And I'm gonna thread the ribbon through and create a bow. Okay, there's my pretty bow. Now my scissors. And there's your tag that goes on the inside. So this will alert them that they need to see the remainder of the sentiment, because there's kind of a little sneak peek there and they're going to say, oh, I can't see the rest, and they're going to pull it out. I think that's such a cute idea. Let me put this one back in this one. And then all we've got left is the flower. And we need to punch out 3 of them. Did I pop the sentiment? No, everything is flat only because you want it to slide in and out easily. So everything is flat. Marilyn, I love this one, but I have to make a different flower. Okay, you can add a flower after we're done anyway, if you don't like the one you picked. So now I'm gonna layer this flower 3 times. So I'm not gonna put it quite in the middle, like 1/3 of the way. And then I'm gonna add the 3rd one. So there's my flower. And I'm gonna just fold all of the petals towards the middle. Isn't that a pretty flower? And I'm gonna glue it with a dimensional. So you designer paper hoarders, this is a perfect card to make with your designer paper. You can make a whole bunch of these. There's the flower. Now we need 2 leaves. And I'm just going to add glue on the stem and tuck those in. And then I'm using the clear faceted gems for the center. So I'm just going to add one of those. And then all we've got left to do is put this whole thing on a card base. So the white is for the back so that you can stamp a sentiment and you can sign the back. So we're going to go ahead and glue that in place. And then you can just flip this over and add glue to your designer paper. And that's going to go over to the other side. And tuck this in. So there you go. There's card number 2. Now, I don't know if this would be called like a pocket card fold. And let me see, where did I do? Here's my first 2 cards. So there you go. Those are the 2 card folds for today. And I will try to do techniques for Saturday. It'll probably be around the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. So I hope you enjoyed my projects. Give me a few minutes and I'll load the pictures of the cards along with all the links you need to create these 2 cards. And I will see you guys in a few days. Thanks so much for stamping with me. And don't forget to add pictures of your cards. I would love to see them. Have a good day, everyone.